Okay, we're going to stop for a second and we're going to look at what you think is craters. These are actually what's left over from the glass dome facilities. And one thing you want to notice is they're almost a perfect 360 degrees around. So we're going to look at this one. This is the large one here. It's about 6 miles across. So now let's take a angled orbital view. Okay, we're going at a different angle here. Earlier we're over here, looking through this way. Now we're going to take it this angle, and the reason for it is we're going to get a better overall view of this part of this facility that was left over. Notice the shadow, how large it is. It's probably 2.5 times larger than the facility itself. And it can't happen like that in normal circumstances unless there's a big wall or some type of large wall that goes around where the glass dome was. Now as we get closer, you can see the wall a little bit better through here. And the wall becomes more apparent. And you can see how it's perfectly the same height of this glass wall all the way around. The reason it's at an angle because it's a lot of debris that has deteriorated and collapsed around the edge of it. Now this image clearly shows it's made of glass. Here's an artifact, a walkway or a tunnel or whatever that went into the facility, and you can see it through the other side, which means this is glass. Okay, this is debris it's up on the glass, but the wall's a pretty good distance. It's actually from here to about right here. So let's get a little bit closer to it. And now you're going to notice how bright this glass is, how brilliant and reflective it is. And when I turned up the brightness a little bit, this artifact that goes into the facility, you can clearly see that it goes through there and you can see it on the other side. Okay, let's go to the next image. Okay, we're going to take a look at the base that has deteriorated, that used to hold up the glass dome. Of course, the glass dome collapses around its edges and collapses inwards. And later in the next images that are really clear, I'll explain that to you. These first two images, I kind of did this on purpose. They're not real good, but this is to kind of give you an idea of how deceptive the lunar surface is. And as you notice, also the double walls, you can also notice holes in the side. Now they were actually, these facilities were made with spaces, and they had like columns in between them and spaces and columns. This is the part where you can see actually through the glass wall here and here. And I'll give you just a little bit more information in the coming images. And there's just a little bit close up of the structure that has collapsed. Top of the wall and the double walls here. This image was taken by a chain orbiter, and from this angled orbital view, it looks like what you would think as a crater, but let's take a little bit closer look at it. Now, I will remind you that these images have been touched up quite a bit, so the close-ups are going to help a lot. There we go. Okay. Almost all glass domes have a center structure that went through the center that help hold up this glass dome. The most common one on the big ones, the really tall ones, if you look at the center, it looks always like a crab claw in the middle. This one doesn't. You can tell this one has collapsed here. Okay, notice the sun coming through the side, like on the other image I showed you. And notice how it's got those square structures here. Now, right here is really noticeable. So let's take a look at that. Here's a close-up. See the structure? Section here and a section here. Of course, like I say, the debris falling over it. A lot of this stuff has deteriorated and collapsed. But you can clearly see the brilliance of the glass on the top of the glass wall where the glass domes sit. And between these two, it's no longer perfectly round. They're just so old, they're collapsing and deteriorating, basically from the weight of the glass dome. So this was a facility itself that ran all the way around these glass domes. What they were used for, I have no idea, but with them being a mile to a mile and a half wide, they were big enough to probably put in a small city around it also. Okay, we're going to go to the top of it. Okay, right here you can see the structures for the walls, how even they are. And here's that debris field I told you about. Now, this one has an oddity in it. Some people really, eyes won't adjust to see it, but I'm going to show you. Notice this square right here? Let's look at it again. Perfect 90 degrees. And you can see through it. This is some type of plate of glass that has collapsed with the dome, and you can see through it. Okay, let's go to the next image. Okay, we're going to take a look at this glass wall here that held up the glass dome. Notice one thing as we get closer, that this glass wall has got to at least be a mile high. And this artifact here, and you can see it, you'll see it closer in a minute, has collapsed from the inside of the facility. But you can see it very clear through the side of the glass wall. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the glass wall and take a closer look right here. Okay, now you begin to see the structure that holds the plates of glass. They're square. And you can also see this artifact clearly on the other side through the wall. Okay, here's a little bit darker view. And the reason I did it like this is I want you to notice right up in here. Okay, this is what I was telling you earlier. This sections here is where the glass was inlaid all over to make this glass dome. And this glass dome, as you notice, it tilts down. It's because these glass domes, apparently, this center support gave away faster because of all the weight on it, which caused it to collapse inwards. So when they airbrushed it, and let me show you how they did it. See the white specks? That's from airbrushing right there. Okay, this is some of the glass that's left in the frame of the glass dome, but they airbrushed it out pretty good, but they weren't able to airbrush out the structure and how the plates were laid in. Okay, there's a brighter image, and it becomes more prevalent that you have the structures that hold the glass and that it tilted in and did collapse in. And this is the center part of the glass that was left. Okay, we're going to go to the next image. These next images you can find on the internet. You can just go to Google and just Google up glass domes on the moon, and you'll find the same research. The reason I pulled this off the web is to show you exactly what a completed dome looks like. And these pictures are very interesting, but they are real. Let me show you where we're fixing to head to. Okay, we're going right here. This picture This image has been totally corrupted, but they couldn't cover everything up completely. There's quite a few artifacts. If you're the kind of person who likes to do that kind of research, you'll find artifacts strewed all over this place, but you have to go through it with a fine-tooth comb. Okay, let's go. That's where the red square was. And this is a completed glass dome that's slowly deteriorating. And here it is again. And we're going to amplify it. Okay, you can see it pretty good. You can see through it, right through here. And you notice here's the glass wall that we've been looking at. And as I was telling you, it collapses inward. But I think what happens is this wall, under the weight from millions of years, begins to tilt in from the weight of the glass. And then the glass dome just kind of, its weight gets pushed inwards, and then it pushes the wall out, and it kind of slides down. And then from there, the weight of the glass dome itself will deteriorate the edges of it. And if you look in the center here, you can tell there was a middle support like I was telling you about. So as that, after the weight of the glass slides into the glass wall, the weight puts a lot more pressure and lets the glass sit only on the center support, and then eventually it collapses, and the rest of the weight begins to push down, and it collapses towards the center right here. Okay, here's the one that I did. I changed the color of it so you can see it a lot better. We're going to take another shot. Okay. And you can see the center support pretty clear right now. And you can tell that that is a bubble here because of the light refraction. But it is deteriorating around the edges. But this is what it looked like. And this is a final picture. I darkened it so you can see the outlines here. And you can see through it a little bit better too with it darkened. These next images can be found in the Apollo Image Atlas. And I'm going to let you find this one. I appreciate y'all watching my videos, and I'll have some more videos out next year.